I still remember a night a few years ago. It was late autumn in Vermont. The kind of night when the hills are covered in gold and red and everything feels still. The air was crisp. I had just pulled up the blanket and let out a long sigh, because I knew it was going to be another restless night, not because of work, not because of racing thoughts, but because of my legs, more specifically, the cramps. They always came out of nowhere, gripping my calf muscles like a steel trap, waking me up in an instant. Have you ever felt that? There was one night I remember vividly. I was dreaming a beautiful dream, riding a train across the country, and then suddenly I jolted awake. My left leg had locked up. Instinctively, I jumped out of bed, grabbing at the muscle, trying to rub the pain away. One hand on the blanket to keep my balance, the other searching for something, anything, to lean on while I tried to stretch the knot out. And in that moment, I remember thinking to myself, really, after all these years of being a doctor, is this how it ends, crippled by something as small and relentless as a nighttime cramp? And here's the thing, I know I'm not alone. In my consultations, I've had countless patients, most over 60, share the same struggle. But what struck me most was how easily they accepted it, as if to say, that's just aging, doc. Must be a calcium thing. Guess I'm just unlucky. And I'd look at them gently and say, no, it's not just aging, it's a signal, and your body is trying to tell you something. After 60, our bodies change. They become like old, rooted trees, strong, yes, but more sensitive to small shifts. A little dehydration, tension held in the muscles, inconsistent routines. They add up and show up at night in the form of cramps, tingling, or sudden spasms. One of my patients, Elena, 68 years old, once told me, Dr. Mark, every night I find myself rubbing my legs at least once. It's not excruciating, but it wears on me, physically and mentally. And what I've learned is this, it's not just your body that suffers. One bad night of cramps can take a toll on your mood, your energy, and your sense of peace the entire next day. Just imagine for a second. Your legs, the very parts of you that carried you up staircases, got you out of bed every morning, took you grocery shopping, walked with your grandchildren, maybe even took you across the country at some point. Those same legs, now aching at night, are just asking for one simple thing, a little attention, a little care, a moment of kindness before you turn off the light. So I decided to make a change, not with medication, not with fancy treatments, but with something simple. A nightly routine, soft, grounding like a lullaby for the body. And that's what I want to share with you. But before we get there, let me tell you something I believe deeply. Just because we're getting older doesn't mean we have to settle for pain. I always ask my patients, and now I'm asking you, what is your body trying to tell you? Have you truly been listening? Is there something gentle and meaningful you could do tonight to support your healing? Because leg cramps are not random. They're often a sign of poor circulation, a lack of hydration, or an incomplete recovery at day's end. Interrupted sleep is usually your nervous system still running in overdrive when it's supposed to be winding down. And that heavy, dragging feeling in your legs the next morning, that's your body reminding you, I needed more help resting than you gave me. So I created a short routine, just 10 minutes, that I do every night before bed. There's no magic formula. No pressure, just warm water, a few easy stretches, and a moment of quiet to let my body release the day. In the next part, I'll walk you through it step by step and explain why it works so well, not just for me, but for dozens of my patients in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. But before we get there, let me ask you this. What will you give your body tonight before you sleep? Something small, something gentle, but something that says, I care. When I first started building a night routine for myself, I didn't want anything complicated. I'd tried all kinds of things before: massagers, fancy apps, guided meditations with ocean waves. Some helped, some didn't. Most just made me feel busier right before bed. So I stopped and asked myself, if I only had 10 minutes each night, what could I do to help my body rest fully and deeply? That's where this routine came from. 3 simple steps. No gadgets, no stress. Just you, your body, and a moment of presence. Let's start with the first one, a small glass of warm water. Now, I know you've probably heard people say not to drink before bed, but after 60, things change. You can't just apply rules without context. I'm not talking about guzzling a tall glass, just 150 milliliters, a little more than half a cup. Enough to gently rehydrate without waking you up at 2 a.m. Sometimes I add a squeeze of lemon. Other times, a pinch of mineral salt, nothing fancy. Why does this matter? Because your muscles, especially as we age, become more prone to dehydration. And when muscles are even slightly dehydrated, they become tight. They misfire, they cramp. I had a patient, Bill, 73, who drank 8 glasses of water every day and still got nighttime cramps. I asked him, "When do you drink your water?" He said, "Mostly in the morning and early afternoon." I told him, "Try this, half a cup of warm water just 15 minutes before bed. Let's see what happens." 2 weeks later, Bill walked into my clinic with the biggest smile. "Doc, I'm sleeping through the night, no cramps, and it started with just that one glass of water." But honestly, it's not just about the water, it's about the moment, that pause, when you hold the glass in your hand and say to yourself, "This is for me." Now, once I've had my water, I move into what I call the gentle unwind. It's 5 minutes of simple stretching, no yoga mats, no need to get down on the floor. I do it sitting on my bed or sometimes on a sturdy chair next to the window. The first move is simple, ankle circles. I lift one foot and rest it gently on my other knee. Then slowly rotate the ankle in circles, 10 times clockwise, 10 times counterclockwise. You might hear a little crackle or pop. That's just the joint moving freely again. As I do it, I rest my hand on my thigh and let my breath sync up with the motion. Next up, calf stretch. Still seated, I extend one leg out in front of me, heel on the floor, toes pointing up. Then I lean forward gently, just enough to feel the back of the calf stretch. No bouncing, no forcing, just breathing and letting the muscle open up. I hold for 30 seconds on each side. One of my musician friends, Henry, a guitarist, told me once, "I've spent decades on stage and never once listened to my legs until I started doing this. It's like I finally said thank you." The third stretch is my favorite. A forward bend. Seated, I sit tall, extend both legs slightly, then gently fold forward. Not to touch my toes, not to prove anything, just enough to feel the back of my thighs release. I stay here for a minute, breathing slowly. Each exhale softens the tension. Each breath is like sending kindness down through my spine. Here's what most people don't realize. Cramps aren't just caused by what's missing, like magnesium or fluids. They're often the result of muscles that have been ignored all day. You walk on them, stand on them, lean on them, and then at night you just lie down without giving them a moment to let go. Imagine a rubber band stretched all day, then suddenly dropped. It snaps. That's what your muscles do, unless you teach them how to soften first. And finally, once I've stretched, I make myself a cup of herbal tea. Nothing with caffeine, usually chamomile or a natural magnesium blend. Just a few sips, that's all I need. It doesn't knock me out. But it helps ease the nervous system like a warm hand on the shoulder saying, "You're done for the day." I turn off any harsh lights, use a soft lamp, something with a warm glow. Sometimes I play gentle sounds, fire crackling or a breeze moving through the trees. No phone, no screens, no headlines. And then I lie down, no agenda, no expectations. Just a man who gave his body 10 minutes of care and is now ready to rest. I'm not promising that all the pain will disappear overnight. But I will say this, if you stick with this routine, even just a few nights a week, your body will respond. Your sleep will deepen, and your legs will stop waking you up in the middle of the night. In the next part, I'll share what happened next, the stories from patients who have transformed their sleep with this habit, and the quiet signs of healing you might not expect. But that will change everything. Something beautiful happens when you start giving your body consistent care. At first, it might feel like nothing's changing. You might stretch, sip your tea, lay in bed, and still think, I'm still waking up at night." But healing doesn't always speak loudly, it whispers, and it does so in its own time. One morning, about 2 weeks after starting my routine, I opened my eyes and realized something was different. There was no jolt, no sting in the calf, no need to reach for the edge of the bed, grabbing at a muscle in panic. I just woke up, peacefully. And in that still moment with the soft light coming through the curtains, I realized I had slept through the entire night. No cramps, no interruptions, just rest. It wasn't dramatic, but it was profound. My feet touched the floor and they didn't feel heavy. No soreness, no lingering tightness. I sat there for a moment, hands in my lap, and whispered a quiet thank you. You see, your body always notices. Even if your mind is distracted or your day is messy, your body pays attention to how you treat it. And over time, with small, loving rituals, it learns how to trust again. I had a patient, Marion, a soft-spoken, 69-year-old retired school teacher. She came in one afternoon, tucked her purse under her arm, and said, "I tried your routine, Dr. Ellis. Honestly, I didn't expect much, but something odd happened. On the third night, I woke up and realized I had dreamed for the first time in years." I looked at her puzzled. "Dreamed?" I asked. She nodded. "I haven't dreamed in so long. I guess I haven't slept deeply enough to. But now I remember the color of the walls in my dream, the laugh of an old friend I haven't seen in decades. I remembered something about myself I thought I'd lost." That's what deep rest can do. It gives your brain time to restore, your cells space to repair, and your spirit a chance to breathe. I once heard a wise saying, "Cramps are not a punishment, they are a conversation." And that's how I think of it now. The body isn't betraying you, it's begging for a new kind of relationship, not one based on force, but on softness. Not one built around perfection, but around presence. Another gentleman, Howard, 76, a former truck driver, used to wake up 3-4 times a night, pacing the room because of severe leg tightness. He started the routine reluctantly. "Takes too much time," he'd say. "I'm not one of those meditation types." But I told him, "You don't need to believe in it. Just try it as if you were putting fuel in your truck. Your legs are your engine." 3 weeks later, he came in with tears in his eyes. "Doc," he said, "I made it through a whole night, first time in years. I even woke up before the alarm, not out of pain, but because I was rested." That's the thing about healing. It's not about fixing something. It's about creating the right environment for your body to do what it's already built to do, restore itself. And when the healing starts, it ripples. You start to notice you're less irritable in the morning. Your patience with your spouse grows. You enjoy your coffee a bit more. You walk with more ease. You breathe a little deeper, and maybe you stop dreading bedtime. If you're still wondering whether a simple 10-minute routine can do all that, I get it. We've been taught that healing must be complicated, expensive, involve a prescription. But sometimes what your body really wants is not another pill, but your presence. So tonight, when you sit down on the edge of your bed and lift one leg to stretch your ankle, know this: you're not just doing a stretch. You're saying to your body, "I hear you, I'm here, let's rest together." In the next part, I'll share how to keep this momentum going, how to stay consistent even when life gets busy, or when your schedule isn't perfect, and how one small nightly habit can quietly reshape the way you relate to aging, sleep, and yourself. Let me tell you something I've learned: anyone can start a new habit. You just need a spark, maybe a bad night, maybe a good video, maybe a doctor like me saying, "Try this, it'll help." But turning that habit into a way of life, that takes something deeper. Not discipline, not pressure, not perfection. It takes love. I used to think habits were all about willpower, checklists, tracking apps, that if I could just stay on track, I'd win. But aging taught me a better truth. Willpower fades. Motivation comes and goes, but what lasts is rhythm, and rhythm comes from care. Think of your nighttime routine like brushing your teeth. You don't do it because it's exciting. You do it because it's part of how you care for yourself, even when no one's watching. The same can be true for stretching your legs, drinking your tea, or softening the lights. These aren't just tasks. They are signals to your body, to your nervous system, to your heart that you matter. Even at the end of the day, when no one needs anything from you, you still choose to offer care to yourself. One of my patients, Linda, she's 74, lives alone, widowed 6 years now, told me, "Dr. Ellis, I do the routine now not just because it helps me sleep, but because it reminds me I'm still worth taking care of." She keeps a small tray by her bed with her stretch band, a teacup, and a card that says, "Evening is for healing." Every night she lights one candle, not for scent, not for show, just for peace. That's what happens when habit becomes lifestyle. It stops being something you have to do and becomes something you want to return to, like a gentle ritual, a sacred rhythm. And yes, life will interrupt. There will be nights when your grandkids are over and the routine gets cut short, or a storm knocks the power out, or you're traveling and your hotel bed feels unfamiliar. That's okay. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means you keep coming back again and again because your body remembers and your body appreciates your effort even in pieces. Let me give you a simple mindset shift that's helped me stay on track. Instead of saying, I have to do my routine, say, I get to. I get to stretch. I get to drink my tea. I get to turn off the noise and come back to myself. Not everyone has that chance. Not everyone has the awareness or the space or the support. But you do. And it's never too late to make the rest of your life gentler than the years before. I also tell my patients to create what I call a sleep sanctuary. A corner of your room, no matter how small, that feels peaceful. No clutter, no screens, maybe a plant, a dim lamp, a chair that says, sit here and exhale. This place becomes a cue. Your body walks in and knows, this is where we let go. A man named George, 81 years old, told me he now puts on his pajamas at the same time every night, even if he's not tired yet. It's his way of telling his body, hey, we're heading into quiet mode. It sounds simple, but simple works. We often underestimate the power of small rituals, but they build momentum. 1 minute of calm leads to 5. 5 leads to better sleep. Better sleep leads to better mornings, and better mornings lead to, well, everything. I want you to hear this clearly. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to become someone new. You just need to return gently to what your body has always known: rhythm, rest, respect. In the final part of this video, I'll share what happens when healing goes deeper than just sleep, how this 10-minute routine can change not just your night, but your entire outlook on aging, on health, on yourself. If you've stayed with me this far, it tells me something about you. You're not just someone who wants better sleep. You're someone looking for something deeper. Peace, comfort, a sense of being at home in your own body again. And I want to tell you something that's not only possible, it's already happening. See, when I started this routine, the warm water, the stretches, the herbal tea, I did it to stop the cramps. That was the goal, just to sleep through the night. But something unexpected happened. I didn't just sleep better. I lived better. I started waking up with a softness in my face, less tension behind the eyes, more patience in my voice, more gentleness in how I moved through the day. Even the way I made my morning coffee changed, no longer rushed, just present. One morning, as I stood by the window, holding my mug, I watched the sunlight ease across the kitchen table, and for the first time in a long while, I felt still and truly okay. That's the thing no one tells you. Healing doesn't just fix the problem. It reintroduces you to who you really are beneath the problem. And over time, this quiet practice, these 10 minutes each night, began to reshape the way I saw aging. Not as a slow unraveling, but as a new chapter waiting to be written with more care, more wisdom, more space to breathe. One of my patients, Ruth, 78, said to me, Dr. Ellis, I used to think getting older meant giving up control, that I just had to accept the decline. But now I feel like I'm participating again, like I'm part of my own healing. That line stayed with me, not because it was profound, but because it was true. When you bring attention and care back to the body, you reclaim a kind of quiet power, not dominance, not youth, but a graceful kind of strength. You might start to notice things, like how your breathing slows in the evenings, or how your digestion feels easier, or how your thoughts don't race the way they used to. These are signs, not dramatic, but meaningful, because your nervous system, your muscles, your heart, your hormones, they're all listening. And when you tell them, let's rest, night after night, they begin to believe you, and then something beautiful happens. Healing moves beyond your body. It starts to affect your relationships, your mood, your joy. You laugh more, you listen more, you feel more. You show up differently, not because you've fixed something, but because you've softened into who you really are. There's a phrase I keep on a note card beside my bed. It says, rest is not a reward, it's a right. And you, my friend, have every right to rest well, not because you've earned it, not because you checked off everything on your to-do list, but simply because you are a human being with a body that has carried you this far, and it deserves to be cared for, lovingly, patiently, night after night. So if this video has resonated with you, if you've tried even one part of the routine, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment. Let me know what's changed or even just how you feel. We are a community, a quiet one but a powerful one. And if you'd like more support, I've put together a simple printable Better Sleep After 60 Evening Checklist. It's linked below. Print it out. Keep it by your bedside. Let it guide you gently into rest. And if this is the beginning of your healing journey, I'd be honored to walk with you. Subscribe to the channel Natural Life Shift Hub. There's more to come. Videos about movement, food, mindset, recovery, all through the lens of aging naturally, beautifully, and gently. Because aging isn't a failure, it's a privilege. And caring for yourself along the way is the most sacred act of all. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take a breath, soften your shoulders, and remember, healing doesn't always start in a clinic. Sometimes it begins the moment you sit down, exhale, and finally listen to what your body has been saying all along. Good night. If you've been living with that dull, nagging pain at night, give your body a chance to heal gently. You don't need to overhaul your life. You can begin tonight. A glass of warm water. 1 minute to stretch your legs. A quiet space to let your body soften. Simple steps, but powerful ones. And if what I've shared feels helpful, I invite you to subscribe so we can keep walking this path together toward better health after 60. I've also left you a simple checklist, Better Sleep After 60, right down in the description. You can print it out, tape it beside your bed, and let it be a gentle reminder your body deserves rest. Every night, without guilt, without struggle. Just care, and the quiet knowing that healing starts with something as small as how you end your day.